Thanks for joining me at Storytime Sports. Today I'm chatting with Commanders superfan Monica Blakely. This one's equal parts inspirational and heartwarming.
Okay, so Monica Blakely is the 2023 Commanders Fan of the Year, creator of Donna Kelsey's iconic hybrid Super Bowl Eagles Chiefs jacket and shoes, and the owner of Passion for Ezra, a minority and veteran owned custom apparel company located in Maryland. She's a lifelong Commanders fan, mom to Ezra, who she named her business after, and an incredible force of good in the community. You can find her on social media at Passion for Ezra. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you so much.
So excited to have you here today and excited to hear more about your fan experience. How would you describe the Commanders fan base in general?
A lot of them just need that fulfillment of that win because we've been beaten for so long.
Yeah.
You know, it's been 30 something years. I think it's a strong fan base to hold on for that long because there's a lot of teams now that, I see Chiefs fans, and when they're not doing well during the beginning of the season, I'm like, you guys went 50 years and then now are good. You have to remember, one, you won't stay great forever because there's 31 other teams, but two, you're going to have bad days. And I think our fan base has really held on and held it together. And I think it's a fan base of being able to overcome the ownership, overcome the losses, overcome some of the tragedies we've had as a team. We've had some questionable ownership. And so now it's almost like I was telling one of my friends on the way home, I said, it's almost like we have family members that own the team. We're like, Uncle Josh is going to take care of us. We're good. We actually have an ownership and a team that we're extremely proud of as a whole. It's almost like the Twilight Zone, but we love it and we'll take it as long as we have it.
Do you think the years where there was dubious ownership kind of bonded the fan base more?
I think it bonded the fans in the fact that they could hate one thing, but I think it divided the rest of the ideas of the fans. Obviously, the name changes, divided fans a little bit. When you're winning, you have less to talk about with the monotonous stuff. When you're winning, you had people who were, I'm never going to call them the Commanders, and all of a sudden they're winning last season, and we almost made it to the Super Bowl, and you stand with a Commanders shirt, and you're like, hey, I thought you weren't going to call them Commanders.
Oh,
It's
so
one
funny.
of those things, but I think having that ownership prior to this was more detrimental than I think what outside fans maybe realize. And like the staff, like you can, the people we work with, and anywhere from like ticketing all the way up, you can see they enjoy their job. It's 10 times, 100 times better than what they had to deal with before.
Wow. Okay. So it's been a positive change in every regard.
With the Harris Group, I have no questions, no doubts. They are looking out for the fans, and especially because they are fans. This isn't, obviously everything's money making, right? But they are kids that grew up in the area that went to the games. So their thoughts are, man, I missed when I was, 12 years old and I was watching them kick butt. And so they're leading with their hearts first, then their heads. And I think that's what is making all of us go, you know what? They know what they're doing.
Right. And that seems like a really unique situation within the league in general.
Yes.
To really have that kind of trust in your owners as both fans and owner.
We've eaten a lot of crow. Like we've eaten a lot in order to even get to the position we are now because of everything that we've gone through as fans. They're not picking questionable athletes. They're not picking questionable morals. They really are doing a heck of a job.
In addition to new ownership and a new team name, another welcome change has hit the Commanders fan base. It involves one iconic hog.
I love the fact we have a mascot. That was my favorite part of everything. I love Major Tutty. Like, you always see these weddings where people have their mascots show up at their wedding. Like, I would have Tutty come to, when we have a renewal or a 10-year, I'm going to have Tutty. Tutty's coming. Like, that's just it. For the longest time, we couldn't really, Redskins, it would have been even more questionable than it was. When they gave us the options, there was like a dog, there was something else. And I was like, it can be nothing else besides a pig. It has to be a pig. Like we have the Hogettes, like we're the Redskins. Like you have to have a pig. And then there's something that a lot of fans outside of ours don't realize. He takes his hat off for the national anthem and he has a high and tight. He has a military haircut
Really?
under his helmet. Yes. Or underneath his hat. Yes. And I was like, the details, like thinking about having a high and tight for because commander is military, right? A high and tight underneath this hat. The detail is just chef's kiss genius.
I love it.
Yes.
Are there any new traditions that are emerging with the new ownership? Any new sorts of rituals that you guys are embarking on?
All right, what I'm trying to do is
Yeah, tell me.
I created a tutty towel, and it's a
Okay.
burgundy towel, and I am trying to get everybody to wave the tutty towel during our
Ooh.
touchdowns because I think that'd be amazing. So the whole concept of, raise hail, love it, right? And take command and all of these things. So they're kind of giving us the tradition of like being leaders, I think, more. But there's not really a tradition of like anything else, like a chant or anything like that right now. Give me a little bit of time. Maybe we'll have the
Yeah.
tutty tradition.
Obviously a passionate fan, I was curious about when Monica's love of football and the Commanders started.
I've done a little internet sleuthing and learned that your dad's actually the one who got you into football in the first place. So I'd love to hear about little Monica and how that journey started.
So I'm an only child, and I was born Super Bowl weekend. I've always watched the games with my dad. My dad used to tell me, okay, during the commercials, we'll go ahead and, we'll go do other things, blah, blah, blah. And then what would happen is one commercial would turn into two, would turn into three, would turn into the entire day of Sundays. And then eventually, as I got older, I realized that Sundays were just like bonding days with my dad. So we got to just sit there and just watch all types of games, but especially at that time, the Washington Redskins. I was a tomboy in elementary school because of it. I knew all the players. I knew all the players from different teams. And I always hung around with the boys because the boys always played football. They always talked football. And then it morphed me into just being a really good fan. And I've pretty much gone to games since I was in like my late teens, early 20s, because I was finally able to go to games. And it's just been one of those things that every Sunday or Monday or Thursday, it's my dad in my bonding time even now. We still go to every game as much as he can make it. And we would stay the entire game, even if we're losing, if it's bad weather. There wasn't really many games that we were missing even over the past, 20, 30 years.
That's incredible.
Time stood still while watching the games. So it's like everything else, all the BS in life, anything else, it just kind of stops while we're watching this game. And we can be happy together. We can argue about a play together. And then what happens is when we're doing that, my daughter and my husband, they have their daddy-daughter dates where they are at home and they get Popeye's fried chicken and they get all the snack foods, and they'll sit and they'll play video games until the game starts. They'll watch the game, then they'll play video games until I get home. And so it's one of those things where no matter what's going on politically or what's going on in the neighborhood or an HOA or whatever it is, that's the time where we get to enjoy ourselves and enjoy the games. And for the most part, even when we have lost, at the end of every year, we go, it was worth it because we've had that time together.
I love that. That was going to be one of my questions. How do you handle adversity within your team?
The whole point of this is this still is just a game, right? What happens on that field is not going to affect my child growing up. It's not going to affect, my dad's health or anything like that. So at the end of the day, this is just a game, but I respect and love it so much because this game is what gets me away from the outside noise. So I may have had a stressful week. I may have had, a hard client. I may have had whatever it is that we all have, right? All the issues. It's one of those things where we can kind of check that at the door, go in, have a good time. For the most part, it's usually a really enjoyable moment. I mean, we never want to see players hurt, but it's one of those things where for the most part, it's always just a lot of fun. And then, yes, you can say that ref, that was a crappy call or, anything like that. But that's pretty much it for us.
I kind of want to backtrack to the Persian side of you, the immigrant dad side of you. How did he get interested in football to begin
So
with?
he, obviously over in Iran, soccer is like the big sport. But my dad was always like an undercover American in Iran.
Ooh.
He would sleep with the American flag on his ceiling. This was before,
Wow.
the hostage crisis and everything. So my dad always wanted to be a United States citizen. My dad always wanted to be in this country. He loved rock music. He loved the freedom. He loved, the red, white, and blue. He was literally just like patriotic American over in Iran. So when he got the chance to come here, he came to the DMV area and he just like attached himself to the Washington Redskins. And that was his team he chose. And he always said they call the Cowboys America's team. It's actually the Redskins because they're in DC. And I was like, okay, Dad, I like that. And then so, of course, the Redskins turned into the Washington football team and then turned into the Commanders. And he's put up with it. He's really worked hard to be able to make it to games, talking about being a child of an immigrant and being a first generation American. Is growing up, we were not an affluent family. We never were rolling in the dough. We were never, like first class families, right? But the amount of hard work that my father and my mother and my family and our business does in order to get these tickets. I inherited these tickets from my first husband who passed away. And so I had these tickets, and every game I went to, I remembered, hey, remember there was one point where you couldn't afford the tickets, and there was one point where they weren't even available to you. It's not church, but it's like, it's our Sunday experience. And we're extremely thankful and blessed that we're able to do this when a lot of people can't. We stop and we thank God for everything we've had in order to get us to this experience.
That's incredible. So never taking it for granted.
No,
It's sort of your version
can't.
of the American dream. It's like, I've made it. I'm
That's
here.
exactly it. I tell them, like, look, we have the front row in the stadium. So as the team continues to, blossom and be well, we were here when there was nothing. We were here when it was losing, losing, losing. So we enjoy that moment and we just take it in. And it's just an experience for us. And we're so thankful. My dad actually just lost 100 pounds this past year to be able to make it to the games. So he was having a hard time making it to the games. And then he lost 100 pounds and he made every single game with me last year. And I plan on taking him to the Pittsburgh draft this next year.
That's incredible.
Monica not only enjoys watching the Commanders, but she loves football and sports in general so much she's created a kind of groundbreaking business around her passion. She designs custom apparel for sports fans for teams famous and local alike.
So right now, if people want to work with you on creating things, what's the best way to do that?
So they can always go to passionforezra.com, but social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at Passion for Ezra. Instagram always has the most stuff that we have. And all they have to do is send me a message. And it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It can be, Sally down the street with 2 kids who wants to, wear a split jersey for her 2 boys that play on the football team. Or maybe there's her 2 daughters who are playing. It can be a professional athlete. It can be ownership.
You might remember I mentioned Donna Kelsey back in the intro. Well, Monica's a little too modest to list all of the other people she's dressed, but I am more than happy to brag for her. Many of Jade and Daniel's mom's game day outfits have been courtesy of Passion for Ezra. She also dressed Shador Sanders' mom. And then there's Patrick Mahomes and his family, who she made shoes for. And made outfits for the Command Force, the Colts Drumline, and Commanders Wags. Roger Goodell even wore a jacket she designed at this year's draft. It might seem like Monica's done it all, but she's still got some big goals ahead of her.
We're still very much a small business. It's myself, and I brought my husband on 3 years ago, and it's just us, and we do it all, and we're able to. I can't believe this is my job, and it's something I love that has combined together. We are in the middle of getting our NFL rights. We applied for everything. Yeah, we've applied for the NFLPA. There's things coming our way that I'm very excited for, but I've been doing this for 13 years. So it's one of those things that it's been a lot of work. We've made stuff for other team owners and everything else for like a decade at least. All these things that are coming into fruition is just from a lot of hard work.
I've read the stories of you starting out in your parents' basement, just kind of like hand making wreaths and then it going from there. Was this in your 10-year plan that it would get to this level?
I think when I posted it went from I posted online and then it went to 30 orders in a week and then 300. And I told my dad, I was like, I think I want to make this a business. And he was like, I don't know how you're going to do it, but go for it. Like I said, they're my biggest supporters. I could say I'm going to the moon and they'd be like, let's get you to Jeff Bezos and let's see what happens, right? I did not anticipate it getting to where I am right now. So at this point, everything still, shocks and awes me. It's been just such an exciting journey. It's been a really long one.
How do you feel about the fact that your work has sort of prompted this entire fashion in sports for women and for people in general movement?
I'm flattered you said that. I think a lot of the stuff we have done has definitely made an impact. I think the stuff that we are going to do is going to make a bigger impact. So like the shoes that we did made it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I made it a point to take Ezra up to Canton, Ohio and Taylor just so they could see it. Because I told her, I said, how many moms do you know have their stuff in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? How many women do you know to be able to get to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is like the mecca of football? That's what really made me cry. Is I told my dad, I said, Dad, they're going into, football heaven. So it's these little things where I'm like, I can say I did that and it's legitimate and it's crazy.
I'm curious about bucket list items for you as a fan and as a business owner who works with the NFL. But what are some things still on the horizon that you haven't gotten to do?
My ultimate bucket list, there's two things. One is to officially have my stuff in stores, and it's to walk into a stadium and see 50,000 people wearing my product. That is my ultimate goal. Don't get me wrong. Commanders going to the Super Bowl and winning is right up there. Okay. But as a business owner and as somebody who has worked really hard in this industry, especially being a female, to see 40,000 people wearing my stuff is my dream. And who knows, I might dream bigger after that. But my whole thing is I want everybody to wear it. And I always wanted to be like a Vera Wang. I wanted to have something where people come to me custom, but are able to buy stuff in store. And to see that happen would be absolutely amazing. And my next goal is to get into all 32 teams, to do wives and spouses and girlfriends and that type of stuff, and to do ownership items. So that's my next step, is to really get in and get meetings with the other 31 teams, and also baseball and hockey and that type of stuff. Because as much as I love football, I don't want to just close myself into it, because I have some really cool ideas for the other teams and other sports.
I love this. I can't wait to see it all happen and explode even more in a positive way. I'm rooting for you.
Thanks for listening to Storytime Sports. Reach out to Football Fangirl 23 if you or someone you know wants to chat about your fandom. And if it's professional athletes you're more interested in, check out Storytime Sports on TikTok or Instagram for humanizing deep dives on your favorite athletes. Until next time.